Hello and welcome to another empowering episode of A Different Kind of Woman. A different kind of woman is able to change herself for the better. Stories of jealousy range from mild, like a competitive comment from spouse to spouse about an attractive co-worker, to the extreme, a stalker-like attempt to control a partner's every move. Jealousy can plague us in our careers, in our friendships, in our accomplishments, but jealousy especially emerges in romantic relationships. On today's show, Slaying the Green Eye Monster, we will discuss how to overcome jealousy in ourselves, in others, and in our relationships. Joining me to discuss this topic is relationships expert Madeline Mason. Hi, Madeline. Welcome to the studio.
Thank you.
So, Madeline, what do you think is the reason for jealousy in relationships?
Well, jealousy is a natural part of our emotional repertoire, and it gets triggered in certain situations. Extreme jealousy probably stems from a low self-esteem. So we can talk about jealousy in a range from something that's fairly benign and normal, like you mentioned in your intro, to something that's less benign. So Maya Angelou, she said that jealousy is like salt. A little bit in the food enhances the flavor, but too much can also be damaging and in some cases life-threatening.
Yes,
yeah.
I totally agree, because jealousy, where did this come from? Where did it all started?
Well, jealousy can start from sibling, from when you're a child.
Yes.
A lot of children are show jealousy almost from 6 months. There's been research to suggest that children,
that it starts from that young.
Yeah, exactly. And it's got something to do with resources, limited resources. It could be attention, food, love, and that sort of thing.
Yes. But people often associate jealousy, like when you're growing up, if you have other siblings. But if you're an only child, you know, jealousy still happens. You know, whether it's adulthood or childhood, jealousy can range throughout.
So it doesn't have to be related with your siblings. It could be with friends in the school courtyard, or
your career, as we said. You know, because sometimes you just wonder, what have you done to cause someone to be jealous of you, or vice versa, where you're jealous of someone else. What causes this?
It's an interpretation of a particular situation. So it could be a threat typically, and it's typically a threat of one's esteem or self-identity, and it's a threat in terms of not an isolated threat. It's different from envy. So an envy would be, I'd like what you've got, but jealousy would be if I'm perceived to be missing out on something because you're going to be gaining from that.
Yes.
Whether it might be real or perceived.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
That's
so it's
really
how we
interesting.
attribute a particular situation.
So it really starts in the mind.
Absolutely.
So before we go further into today's topic, let's find out the factual lowdown and hear from the people on the streets of London with Priscilla.
Why do we feel jealous? Therapists often regard the green-eyed monster as a scar of childhood trauma or as a psychological problem. It's true that people who feel inadequate, insecure, or are more dependent tend to be more jealous. However, according to anthropologists, jealousy is an instinct that discourages desertion by a mate, enabling the survival of the young, also pushing us to abandon philanders in favor of a more rewarding and stable relationship. It is believed that a small amount of jealousy can be good. For example, if it's mild and well managed, can help the couple to appreciate each other. Studies show that insecure individuals are more prone to jealousy. Insecurity is not absolute in men or women. For example, a woman can be very successful in her workplace and still her psychopathology can show in her relationships. Extreme jealousy can destroy a relationship and be very bad for health. Psychologists categorize pathological jealousy and self-doubt as ROCD, Relationship Obsessive Compulsive Disorder, one of many types of OCD, or morbid jealousy. Symptoms can include constantly checking their partner's phone, online history, stalking them, wanting to know who they are speaking to or who they are hanging out with. Traditionally, psychologists, religious leaders, and philosophers have viewed jealousy as an evil that we need to free ourselves from. However, in recent years, psychologists have argued that jealousy might have a bright side if used to better ourselves. Let's find out what the public thinks. How do you define jealousy?
Kind of like a rush of emotions when like you see something that you want that you don't have and someone else has it. It's just kind of one of those things that's overwhelming, kind of like an angst with anger.
A waste of energy and time for everyone involved.
When you're like, you want to be someone else perhaps, or you like people's fashion or something, yeah.
Yeah, I would say a similar thing where when you want to be like someone else because maybe you think they've got better things, like better clothes or look better. And
How do you behave when you feel jealous?
A bit irrational, I guess, sometimes. You kind of, yeah, because there's a rush of emotions that kind of grabs you from a place you're not sure about. Yeah, you kind of act out of character.
I don't really feel jealous. If I'm honest, I think that it's really something that you should turn inwards and start asking yourself why you're feeling that, as opposed to putting it on someone else if you are jealous of someone.
I tend to be quite rude to like whoever I feel jealous of, so probably like ignore them or wouldn't really speak to them, and just try and avoid them at all costs, basically.
probably be quite frustrated and yeah, a bit anxious.
What can you do to overcome jealous feelings?
To know you either end up getting what you want in the long run, or you find something that's the equivalent of, or get over yourself a bit, I guess. Yeah.
Probably just like try and avoid the person, maybe if they would like make me feel really bad, and then try and maybe assess why I'm jealous and like just sort it out myself, really.
I try to think about my way and how I get my purpose, not another people.
I think I'm just like pleased for people. If they're better at something than I am, that I think I'm good at, then I try and learn from them. I think that's the best way of doing it with it, as opposed to feeling jealous and hating them for something that I want to be good at. You just learn from them and banish all jealousy.
Self-insecurity, so if you sort of work on your confidence, then you can like feel better about yourself and then feel less jealous about other things.
That's it from us in the streets of London, and it's back to you in studio.
Thank you, Priscilla. It was really informative finding out from the public their views on how they perceive jealousy and the emotions. So one of the public members mentioned about insecurities, and sometimes insecurities can be one of the reasons that it's behind that insecurity, that jealousy, sorry. What is your views on that?
I agree that to some extent there's an insecurity about perhaps a perceived threat that something is going to change, something's going to be taken away from you. And in romantic situations, it's typically the partner. You're worried that the partner is either seeing somebody else or somehow diverting their attention somewhere else.
Yeah.
So we're back to the sort of the children scenario again, is that you've got these limited resources. Let's say if it's your parent, you want their attention. So it's another way of sort of highlighting and flagging up. Hang on a second, I want you. I need you back here.
Yes.
I need you to have your attention.
Okay. So how do you tell if it's right for someone to like be suspicious? Your partner, you know, being nosing around, checking your phones, following your every move, you know, on social media and so forth, you know.
And so that's
sort
where
of
it becomes
suspicious
tricky.
behavior.
Yeah. So it becomes tricky. When is OCD? Like, do you check the handle 5 times and then you're OCD, or is it 4 times? So it's when does something become intolerable or disadvantageous, if you will, and it's to the degree that it consumes you so much, then that it sort of takes over your life. Then it becomes a negative thing.
It's
I mean,
unhealthy.
I suppose at the fundamental, relationships need to have trust. So you need to. In theory, if there's nothing to hide, it doesn't really matter if you go through your spouse's
Because what I'm
telephone.
thinking, if you're married, then when you're married, you and your husband or your wife, you become one.
Sure.
So then there's no need for you to be jealous, because if you're one, you're jealous of yourself. So then there's no need for jealousy. But I understand in couples and relationships that people do get jealous, but it's not a long term. It's not something that, you know, they focus on, you know.
So interestingly, people who are married or just dating casually are less likely to be jealous.
Jealous
than people who are dating.
singles or...
No, than people that are dating. So you're quite not really sure whether you're in a committed relationship or not, or whether you're cohabiting. So if you're married
yes.
or casually dating, there's something about how you attribute what the other
Yes.
person means to you that will trigger whether you become jealous or not.
Yes,
So
that's
in
true.
marriage, you might feel more secure, so that you feel that the partner's not going to leave you.
Yes.
On the
But then we do have cases where even though you're married,
Correct.
there's
It
still...
does happen. Yeah.
Yes.
So then
yes.
there's a difference between having a suspicion that your spouse's actions are not incongruent with what you have agreed on, say fidelity.
Yes.
Then feelings of jealousy will arise, but it's also an indicator that something is wrong. Some flag is being
yes.
waved.
There's a
and-
red flag.
Yeah. And so you're acting on something. There's an instinct that's getting triggered there.
Yes.
So again, it's just a natural part of our emotional repertoire. And it's
Okay.
to the point when it becomes irrational that it becomes dangerous. So we talk about morbid jealousy or obsessive jealousy. And that's when
Obsessive.
it becomes,
It's out of control.
well, it's accusations that are not real. So
Yeah.
you might be accusing your spouse of seeing somebody else when they in fact are not, and you read
Okay.
too much into everything, and that's
Yes.
when it becomes corrosive to the relationship because the person hasn't done anything wrong, yet you are still.
But then the other
attributing-
person's mind, they're thinking that
Exactly.
they are having an
Exactly.
affair or...
Correct.
Okay. Wow. Today's topic, I'm learning a lot even from myself, I'm embracing it all. So we're going to take a short break, but stay tuned and take a look at what's next. After the break, actress Emma Bryant will be joining us in the studio.
Because I just felt so worthless and awful, and being accused all the time of things that I hadn't done or wouldn't even dream of doing is just crazy.
Welcome back on today's show, Slaying the Green-Eyed Monster. We've been discussing what causes jealousy. Joining us to discuss the topic further is actress Emma Bryant. Welcome, Emma.
Hiya, thanks for having me.
So I see you do many things. You're a comedian, you're an actress, you're a model, you do it all. So how has been your experience in the business? Have you faced a jealousy?
I faced quite a lot of jealousy. So I started out with just modelling. I came third in a national newspaper competition.
Oh, wow. So what age did you started modelling?
Oh, about 21. I was an insurance sales manager.
Okay.
Until then, and I was also modelling on the side.
Yes.
But then when my career began to take off, like modelling, I used that phrase, I kind of had to choose between the two. Like my co-workers thought it was quite cool. But even then in that workplace, I faced a bit of jealousy from older women because I was only 21 and I was the youngest person in the office and I was one of the managers.
One of the
So I
managers.
was really happy with that. But I thought you only get one chance, so I'm going to take this, and thank God it did pay off.
Wow.
I faced a lot of jealousy. I'd say envy, but it was more bitterness and nastiness. I'd say jealousy because I've not done anything to these people, so it must have been jealousy.
Yeah. So what kind of things did they do to make you feel like uncomfortable?
Well, I just remember being on a shoot and people saying so that I would hear them that I haven't got the right look or that I'm weird and they can't understand my accent because I had a very heavy Bristolian accent until recently. It's a bit more neutral now. But yeah, because I wasn't considered like conventionally attractive people, and I became quite successful quickly because I've worked in business. I do know how to market myself and how to get work.
Yes.
And a lot of people, because I didn't fit their perceptions of beauty or whatever, because I'm pale and whatever, and I'm not quite as thin. So yeah, I was kind of made to feel a bit outcasted. People would not want to talk to me and things like that. But I think I'm quite well educated, so I did know it was jealousy.
Yeah.
And I was very successful quickly, and within a year of modelling, I won an award for Best Newcomer, and the people's true colours really came out then.
How we react is very important. It's
Yeah,
very key.
I kind of react I don't rise to it. I like to think I've been brought up a bit better than that. I'm quite, I wouldn't say patronising, but when I want to be, I was kind of brought up to not to fight back, don't shout, swear, just with wit and sarcasm. And to be fair, I kill it with wit and sarcasm. I'm quite mature for my age, and I'm quite good at putting people down where it needs to be done.
What led you to alcoholism?
Well, I was in a very unhappy relationship at the time. Like, I was very depressed. I was suffering from anxiety and depression. And also, I'd really stopped enjoying my job as well. I sort of realised this wasn't for me because of the behaviours of lots of the people that I'd worked with. I sort of thought, I'm not really like some of these people. I met some of the most wonderful people. I've got some amazing friends, but I did also meet some of the worst people of my life through that. So,
how did that affect you?
What, the alcoholism or the negative?
The alcoholism.
Well, I was drinking a lot, obviously, every day. It was just making me very
So you wasn't
withdrawn.
able to focus on your job?
Strangely enough, I was actually very focused still, but it kind of went over time from I was fine, I could go to work, I could get up every day, to I just lost so much weight because I wasn't eating properly. I was also self-harming. Which was really bad because I just felt so worthless and awful, and being accused all the time of things that I hadn't done or wouldn't even dream of doing is just crazy.
Yes.
I was very, and people, obviously jealousy comes into this too, but at this point, people were really jealous of me because I was making a lot of money. On social media, I always came across as being like very, very happy. I had loads of friends. I was going on holiday with my family quite a lot. It was really, really great. But yeah, drink started to take over in the end.
Wow. So Emma, how did you get your life back on track? How did you recover from these experiences?
Well, I actually started with something very negative. On Christmas 2014, I went on quite a big drinking and self-harming binge due to a relationship problem, a very big problem that was happening at that time. And I was in A&E and I was very ill. And I was on a machine and it was just horrible. And then when I went home, I had to rest for quite some time, about like a week. And when I was there, just at home resting, I thought, I really want to get out of this career. I want to get rid of the partner. And I want to pursue a career in acting and comedy, which is something that I've always wanted to do. Okay. So I did. I got a lot stronger. I managed to stop drinking by myself because I had enough willpower to actually stop. And I'd say I'm fully recovered now because I can go out and drink socially with friends and stop and go to bed at a normal time, like a normal person. So I'd say I've recovered from that fully. But anyway, so I decided I really wanted to work in acting and comedy. So I finally got rid of the partner that was causing the problems, and I worked hard to get out of just modelling, and then I wrote to a lot of casting agencies and stuff, and I started filming my own public pranks for YouTube, and I kind of got noticed quickly because I'm one of the only girls in the world that actually does that. And the less I stopped drinking, I managed to cut down on my anxiety tablets. As soon as I got rid of the partner, though, things just went really, really, really well. And I faced even more jealousy than ever then. But at that point, I was just so happy that I just...
Because the truth is, you can't control other people. You only can control, yourself and what you do, how you react to situations. So it's good that you're on the mend and you get it. You got the help that you needed.
Yeah.
Well, it's amazing how you have gone through so much, and yet you're still able to smile. You're able to
always
smile
happy
today.
now.
You're able to put things in place, moving forward in your career. Yeah. What about your love life? Have you met someone?
Yeah, I have. I'm in a very happy relationship now. So
that's good. And you're eating?
Eating really, really well now. I do a lot of healthy eating, healthy living and stuff. So
no more self-harming?
No, not for at least 2.5 years.
Good. And the anxiety tablets?
Completely off of them now. And the depression ones, I've been off them for a whole year. I've still got PTSD, but I'm working through that, and it's not that apparent. Yeah.
Okay, that's great to hear. That's wonderful. So, what are you working on these days? What is your future plans?
Well, I've actually just completed the first British feature film ever to be filmed entirely in virtual reality. Okay. And I'm the lead actress in that, and that's due out, I think, towards the end of this year. So that was a massive achievement. I was really, really happy.
Oh, wow.
I've also done quite a lot of work in the horror industry. I've not experienced sort of any bitterness or jealousy, really, in the horror industry. I thought it's been really, really good. I was a little bit worried because sort of crossing over from one industry to another, people can, especially as it involves modelling, people can be a bit weird over that. But no, it's been really good. And like I said, I've just done the first virtual reality feature film, so I'm hoping that that'll get me some more attention. And I'm doing a lot of stand-up comedy. I've just done a few gigs. I'm actually performing at quite a big event in central London in the end of September, which I'm really, really excited about. I'm filming like lots of public pranks, lots of stuff. Yeah, I've got a lot on the horizon. Some of it I'm not allowed to talk about.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm doing quite a lot. And I also did Game of Thrones. I had a very small part in that, which was really, really, really cool, which I'd say is probably the highlight of my career.
Yeah.
And then followed by the virtual reality film. But I've got loads of like comedy stuff in the pipeline, some more acting stuff. Just life is perfect at the moment. And I have 2 cats. I mean, yeah, it's brilliant. Two little kittens. So life is brilliant.
We're going to take a short break. Don't go away. Take a look at the interesting woman that will be joining us after the break. Next, we'll be hearing from motivational speaker, psychotherapist, and author Catherine Baldwin, and Jessica White will be joining us in the studio with their life experience.
With your feelings, with your intuition, it's about building your self-esteem and your self-worth, what I call your inner oak.
People at work were pointing fingers at me. I felt as if I was not good enough. I felt as if I had no self-esteem. I didn't have self-esteem anyway, so it made it even worse.
Welcome back on today's show, Slaying the Green-Eyed Monster. We've been discussing how jealousy can affect us. Our team went to find out how to fall in love from the author of The 10 Steps to Falling in Love, Catherine Baldwin, at the Summer of Change Festival. Let's see how they got on.
So I have a small events company called Absolute Alchemy, and I try and do events around personal transformation, heart and soul events. And I met Ruth Rogers, the owner of the Canvas Cafe in Shoreditch, London, at the beginning of the year. And we were discussing about how at the moment there's so many sad stories in the media, the tragedies in London that have been happening, but then there's also so much optimism. When the general election happened, loads of young people went out and voted, and there are so many good stories out there. So we wanted to bring people together and to talk about lots of different themes. So we created an 8-day festival, 8 different themes. The themes are health and well-being, happiness, change makers, community action, the environment, and relationship and love. And today is the Relationship and Love Day.
So the steps I have in my book are all about going on a journey of inner transformation. So it's about stepping inside, connecting with yourself, with your feelings, with your intuition. It's about building your self-esteem and your self-worth, what I call your inner oak. It's about identifying your relationship patterns, if they're unhelpful or unhealthy, and changing those patterns, letting go of lost loves, identifying what triggers you in a relationship, setting healthy and loving boundaries for yourself, and making really bold choices. So that's a broad brush description of my steps. Romance is lovely, and I think when we're possessive, it comes from a place of low self-esteem, of insecurity, of having a deep need. And all the work I do is about developing a sense of wholeness so that we're not so needy. And I think when we have a sort of hole on the inside, we get very grasping and very possessive, and we need people to love us. Whereas if we can love ourselves and nourish ourselves and fill up that hole on the inside with really good stuff from the inside, then we won't be so possessive. We will be romantic, which is lovely. So the interesting thing about jealousy, I think, or the important thing, is to notice where it comes from. So is your jealousy founded? Are you in a relationship with somebody who isn't faithful or loyal? And if that's the case, why are you in that relationship? Why are you staying in that relationship? But if your jealousy isn't founded, if it comes from you, if it comes from a sense of insecurity, that is about working on your self-love and your self-respect and noticing. So I can sometimes have moments of jealousy in my relationship, and then I stop and I think, hang on, is this my insecurity? Am I feeling insecure about myself? And why is that? And then I affirm good things about myself. I love myself, I care for myself, and then it goes away. So I think it's all about loving the self.
What I got from the video is about self-love and self-respect. It's work in practice. We all can do it. So joining me in the studio to share her experience is the lovely Jessica White, who discovered that her ex-husband cheated on her after 3 years of marriage. So, Jessica, how did you discover that your husband cheated on you at the end of that relationship?
Well, it happened, I had no idea, so there was no forms of jealousy from any part, not a clue that he was cheating.
Yeah.
What happened was I found, he was saying he wanted to go away to find himself, and he showed me an article in a magazine, men's magazine, so I let him go.
Yeah.
Until on the Friday that he went, I found, this is how far back it was, a pager, a work pager on the corner of the bed.
That was
a while back,
years.
yeah. And I'm not one to snoop, you know, but it was flashing, so I thought I'd better check it in case it's something for work. So I checked it, and on the message was, it's going to be lovely in Dublin, can't wait till we're together. So that confirmed that obviously he wasn't going alone.
Yes, yes.
So that's how I found out.
Wow.
Not a clue.
And how did you feel about this?
I'm laughing because I don't know. How did I feel? At the time, you heard of this saying about you've had the rug pulled from under your feet.
Yes.
That is exactly how I felt. I come crashing down. It was a tough time. I just could not believe that he would do it. Even I spoke to his sister about it. She said, "Oh, no, it's all right, you know, wait till he comes back on the Monday, you know, and it'll be fine."
And did you confront him?
So I had that weekend to, I couldn't contact him, obviously. There was no sort of way to contact him. So I had this long weekend, it just seemed like forever, waiting for him to come home on the Monday. So I took the day off work, I placed my son with somebody who could look after him for the day, and I sat there on the settee waiting for him to come home. So he came home, and I think once he saw me there, I think he realised that I'd found out, and he'd just come clean. Yeah. So basically I sort of said, well, you know, are you going to be with this woman? And he said, yes. So I said, well, you know, we're going to have to go. He had to go. So he left. He left me and my son on my own.
Wow. So have you been able to forgive him?
Yes.
And moved on?
Just go back a little step is how it took me a long time to get over it, because it was such a shock for me, you know.
Yes.
I mean, I felt people at work were pointing fingers at me. I felt as if I was not good enough. I felt as if I had no self-esteem. I didn't have self-esteem anyway, so it made it even worse.
Yeah.
And things got really bad for me. I started to drink as well, and things got really, really bad.
Did he identify what broke down, what caused?
To this day, he never has.
Okay.
But I've moved on from there.
Yes, yes. And you have forgiven him?
Of course I've forgiven him, yeah.
Yes.
I surrounded myself by a lot of positive women, a lot of women that encouraged me and sort of strengthened me in that way. They made me realise that it wasn't my fault, because I kept blaming myself. I was angry, I was blaming myself, I was blaming him. But surrounding myself by these women, they helped me realise that, no, it wasn't my fault. And, you know, I am good enough. I am sort of the woman that I should be, you know.
Yes.
I grew a faith, and that sort of helped me to keep strong. And, I got through it. I learned that I had to forgive him.
Yes.
One Christmas, I decided, I've had enough of this, you know. I want to just forget, put it behind me and crack on as such, you know.
Yes.
So I wrote a letter to both of them, and basically sort of just saying, I forgive you, you know, I hope you'll be happy together and all this. They were married at that time, and I think they had one child. And surprisingly, I got a letter back from the woman, the other half as such.
Yes, yes.
She sent a letter back, and she's sort of saying, I've been wanting to speak to you, you know, because You know, I want you to know that I didn't know he was married, and if I did know he was married, I would never have gone through with it. But it come to a point that she got so involved in the in the relationship,
yes,
that she couldn't let go. So that's what happened.
Wow.
But yeah, I learned to forgive, put it aside. I've moved forward.
Yes. And you said about your faith. You use your faith. You're surrounded by positivity.
Yes. Yeah, all these positive people. They gave me the courage to realise my worth. In fact, you know, to let them know that you know, I am worth better.
Of course. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So today, how is Jessica?
I'm smiling. No, I'm good. I'm happy in my life. I haven't got a partner, but that doesn't bother me. You know, I'm happy.
Do you still drink?
Oh no, no, I don't drink. No, I don't drink anymore. No, I'm happy and just enjoying life and just sort of trying to make the best of myself. How I can improve myself and be a better person.
That's it. Well, thank you so much for
You're
coming
welcome.
to the show today and sharing your story with our viewers. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Okay, so we're going to take a short break, but don't go away. We'll be back with more on slaying the green-eyed monster. Here's a sneak peek of what's coming up after the break. Next, our team went to see the latest hair trends. Some of you might be jealous of this, so have a look and see the Curly Treats Festival. Welcome back. Today's topic, slaying the green-eyed monster. Our team went to find out about the styles to be jealous of at Curly Treats Festival.
Was inspired by myself and also other people who initially went natural. So when I first went natural at the age of 15, there was no one that I could really identify with. And so I created a safe space where we can know more about our hair, find hair products that work for naturally afro or curly textured hair, but also more about empowerment. So even though it's a Curly Treats Festival and is predominantly about natural hair, it's also about how do you be the best you from the inside out.
So I heard about this festival from a friend of mine who had told me that there's a natural hair expo on today, and I thought it was a good event for me to attend. Obviously somebody who actually wears their hair natural, and also I'm dealing with little products that are based or African inspired as well, so I thought that would be a very good thing for me to do.
So what brought me here was wanting to spread the word about fitness and health and wellness. So natural hair, this is a natural hair show, it's not just about, you know, what the things that you put in your hair, the creams and stuff, it's about your inner wellness as well. It's about your health and how your body's circulating and all the good things that happen inside. So I've come as a personal trainer and as a health coach to sort of raise that awareness and get people sort of creative and interested in starting a fitness journey.
I came here today to showcase my brand, Waverly G. So I thought this would be a very good platform to give visibility to all my work.
When I was 17, I developed a menstrual condition where I'd bleed between my periods, and after living with it for 2 years and realizing it wasn't getting any better, I decided that I wanted to go and get help. But unfortunately, when I went to the doctors, they told me that I should come back in 6 months if it got any worse. After having lived with it for 2 years, I decided that enough was enough, so I started to use herbs, aromatherapy oils and diet to make changes on my own, and I was able to heal myself from that condition, which kind of inspired me to help other women who were in the same situation as I was.
What brought us here is to promote our brand, Miss Hair, as you can see. It's a family-owned brand bought by myself and my 2 brothers. So we came up with it, deciding to cater all the different things that affects women of colour and their thinning hairline, as well as their balding spot.
Empowering women to be beautiful starts from a young age. So for example, myself and a lot of women that I know, we had to unlearn all the things that we were told when we were younger and had to relearn who we were and how beautiful that we were. And for example, learning that beauty comes in different shades, different sizes, different hair textures. And so the purpose of, or part of the purpose of Curly Treats Festival is that we have a children's section that we teach them from a young age that they are beautifully, wonderfully made, so that they don't have to go through the process of relearning like we did as women.
I think that beauty is within, and I think that what is beauty? You know, some people say being beautiful is being tall, being slim, but I think women need to understand is that everything is beautiful. Every single woman is beautiful, and it's not a facial thing, beauty. It's beauty within. You feel beautiful, you walk beautiful, your whole personality shines out because it's within. So if you have the confidence within yourself, other people would see that, and then you become beautiful. So it doesn't matter what you look like, it's how you feel within yourself which comes out, and then people around you would see your inner beauty.
I think more events like this are quite helpful. Not only that people who are coming here get to see women who are selling their products or they showing their identity, and it's good that when like you see a lot of people who have been walking around here, a lot of people are wearing their hair differently and they're all pretty beautiful and gorgeous. So as long as you're here and you get to see people also, I think that would really help. Yeah.
To empower women to feel more beautiful, we can tap into our creative side. So we can band together, try out different things, different health tips, just allow ourselves to tap into things that we wouldn't necessarily tap into, to try and just explore and be creative with our wellness, with our health, and appreciate each other's differences. We all have different ways of being healthy, different ways of having our hair done, just different ways of being beautiful, and tapping into that as a team and as people, I think is what will empower us to feel more beautiful.
Jealousy is a very bitter thing, but what I do is I say to myself, we all cannot have the same thing. I'm a single parent, I'm not married. My cousins are married, but I have a son. My cousin has a daughter. I'm a landlady. My sister has another profession. So what you have to do is you've got to look at what you've got and be thankful for what you've got, and do not be jealous of somebody else's gift. Because we all came into this world to do different things. I don't look like you, you don't look like me, I don't look like my sister. Even though she's my sister, we're not a carbon copy. So therefore, I should not be jealous of her, and she shouldn't be jealous of me, because we're all different, our achievement is different, our purpose in life are different. So therefore, that helps to kind of squash down the word jealousy. You just got to accept what you've been given for yourself. You've been given something to do, and then you just got to go ahead and just do that thing, really.
Because you never really know what other people are going through. Like, you know, you could be like, oh, you know, she's slimmer than me, or, you know, whatever, and you don't. I think it's about having compassion for other people and understanding that life isn't always perfect, but at the same time accepting your own flaws and making them feel like your flaws make up who you are. So, and everybody's different.
I think body confidence and who you are, where you come from, knowing your identity, and having a bit more self-esteem about yourself, and just knowing that you're as good as anybody else next door to you. There's no need for you to be jealous about anybody.
Oh, it's a shame that I missed it. I was so busy that day that I couldn't go, but it looked so good. Next time. So, are you green-eyed with jealousy? Are you tormented when your partner looks at someone else? Do you live in constant fear that your partner would leave you for someone else? Let's find out if you have unhealthy tendencies by taking this jealousy test. Play along at home. If you are not in a relationship, imagine that you were. So the first question. I question my significant other about his or her whereabouts. A, all the time, or B, occasionally, or C, never?
Never.
Occasionally.
Occasionally?
I think occasionally just to make sure that they were okay. Like if they were meant to be back at a certain time and 2 hours later they weren't, I would, but otherwise I wouldn't because I would trust them.
Trust is important. So, second question. I question my significant other about his or her telephone calls. A, all the time, or B, occasionally, or C, never.
Never.
Never. I don't think I've ever done that.
Yes? Never. Never have I done that. Okay, question number 3. I think that my significant other is secretly developing an intimate relationship with someone. So, what do you think? Is it all the time that you have these thoughts, you think about it? Or is it occasionally? Or never?
Well, unless they proved reason to suspect
to mistrust him. He doesn't give you
that would
any
be a bit
reasons.
weird to just get all suspicious.
Yes. Okay, let's look at our other question. I look through my significant other's drawers, handbags, or pockets. Do you do that all the time? A, or B, occasionally, or C, never? Never. I think we need some men to answer some of these questions because I think men do it as well, But I've never found myself in that situation, and you ladies, you've never done that. There's no reason, no need for it.
Yeah, there's no reason at all.
But we know we do have some people who do it, so it's good for our viewers to get involved. The next question now. I get very angry when someone flirts with my boyfriend or girlfriend or spouse.
Depends on how they react.
All the time?
Yeah.
Is it A, all the time, or B, occasionally, or C, never?
Depends on how they react.
Yeah, it depends on how they reciprocate it.
How your partner responds?
Yeah.
So if he's flirting with someone else
and flirting back, that would
and the person flirting back with them.
Yeah, so if there's a flirtation going on in front of me, I would not be very happy with that.
Okay, and how would you deal with that? Would you let him know, or you'll wait until you go home in the quiet?
We'll do it behind closed doors.
You won't make a scene.
No.
Yeah,
you will do that.
I don't like to cause confrontation in public. No,
I don't either.
Okay,
not a great trait.
So let's go down to the scores now. Count all your A answers as 2 and B answers as 1 and C answers as 0. Add the items for a total score in a range from 0 to 10 and compare it to the following interpretations. So 0 to 3, your jealousy is likely well managed and you can thrive in your quality of life. 4 to 6, you have little jealousy that would cause problems in relationships. So if your score is over 6, then your jealousy has a significant force in your life that you need to learn to manage. Jealousy is a manifestation of fear that can lead to envy, anger, can lead you to hurting someone, hating someone. Jealousy arises also from comparisons, competition, and fear. Overcoming that insecurity, overcoming that jealousy relies on you. You need to address it. You need to do something about it. Now that you are aware, hopefully from today's show, that you have learned something that you can do about the situation to be a better person, to value yourself even more. So you have heard our thoughts on the matter. Please share your thoughts with us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, or by emailing comments at dkw.me. Join us next week for another exciting episode of DKW. Until then, it's goodbye.